Alright, so alkali metals हम लोग कर रहे थे. Alkali metals में we had started with the chemical properties of the alkali metals. We done its reactivity with metals. We done its reactivity with non-metals. So this is the next topic which we are going to take over here: nature of oxysols. Now it is seen that alkali metals, they directly react with oxoacids. Now over here, because these metals, they are going to be highly reactive, therefore whenever they are reacting with oxoacids, the reaction that proceeds by liberation of hydrogen. So these are going to liberate hydrogen once they react with oxoacids. It is seen that lithium salts, they are going to behave very abnormally. It is lithium which behaves abnormally because of its small size. Now, due to the small size, it has high polarizing power. It is going to have high polarizing power of lithium ion, and due to which the lattice energy that is going to be affected, right? So let's go on to the type of oxysols which we are going to discuss over here. The first one, that is nature of carbonates and bicarbonates. Nature of carbonates and bicarbonates. Now, it forms carbonates of the type M2CO3 and bicarbonates of the type MnCO3. Okay. Now, here it will be seen that the carbonates of alkali metals, they are highly stable towards heat, which means that they cannot be decomposed easily when we are going to heat them. They have a stable character, and as the electropositive character increases, the stability will increase. So the order of stability of carbonates, that is going to be cesium carbonate is going to be most stable. फिर उसके बाद rubidium carbonate, उसके बाद potassium carbonate, and then it is going to be sodium carbonate, and finally it is going to be lithium carbonate. So lithium carbonate, that is going to be least stable over here. Okay. Now when we talking of order of solubility, this is the order of stability. When we talking of order of solubility, it is seen that all the carbonates, they are going to be soluble in water, but the solubility will keep on increasing with increase in size of the alkali metal ion. So therefore lithium carbonate, that is going to be least soluble. ठीक है? फिर उसके बाद ये वाले trends आपको याद रखने, because these are the type of questions which you are going to get. Then we have sodium carbonate. फिर उसके बाद we have K2CO3, we have Rb2CO3, and then we have cesium carbonate. The cesium carbonate over here, that is going to have maximum solubility of water, right? It is seen that aqueous solution of carbonates, they are going to be alkaline in nature. So when we are dissolving the respective carbonates into water, its aqueous solution, they are going to be basic. Now this basic solution or alkaline solution formed is due to the formation of a strong base on reaction with water. So if we have M2CO3 plus H2O, it is going to give us a hydroxide, right? This is going to be a strong base, and we are going to get with it a weak acid, which is carbonic acid. Because of the strong base over here, the solution of metal carbonate, that is going to be basic in nature. Okay, because this is going to be a strong base. This is going to be a weak acid. Therefore, it is going to be the solution which is formed because of dissolving of metal carbonate in water, that is going to be basic in nature. Now, when we are talking of bicarbonates, the bicarbonates of all the alkali metals, they are found in the solid state. So, all the bicarbonates, they are solids except for lithium bicarbonate, right? Rest all of them, they are going to behave as solids. The bicarbonates also, they are going to be soluble in water, and generally it is seen that they are thermally unstable. So when we are heating bicarbonates, they are going to get dissociated into carbonates plus water plus carbon dioxide, right? So these are going to be unstable. Now, why lithium carbonate is going to show an anomalous behavior? Because when we are looking over here, we are saying that lithium carbonate, that is not going to be soluble in water, that is not stable. If you're looking at this trend over here, lithium carbonate, that is not stable. If you're looking this trend over here, lithium carbonate is going to be least soluble over here. Now, what is the reason behind the anomalous behavior of lithium carbonate? Let's understand. When we're talking of lithium carbonate, it is seen that lithium positive, that is going to be a small ion. It is in fact the smallest ion which is formed over here, as a result of which it is going to exert strong polarization. What do we understand by polarization? We have already done in chemical bonding. Polarization is the distortion of the electron cloud of the other element with which lithium is going to form bonds, right? So it is going to exert a strong polarization, due to which it is going to distort the electron cloud It is going to distort the electron cloud of the nearby oxygen atom. Of the nearby oxygen atom, right? Now, when it is distorting this cloud, this distortion of the cloud, that is going to weaken the CO bond. Right? So this CO bond, that is going to be weakened, and hence this is going to be easily cleaved. Right? So if the CO bond weakens, then what is going to happen over here? Because of weakening of the CO bond over here, the strengthening of lithium oxygen bond, that is going to take place. Okay, so this is going to facilitate the decomposition of lithium carbonate into lithium oxide and carbon dioxide. So when we are talking of lithium carbonate, it can be, on heating, it can be easily dissociated into lithium oxide plus carbon dioxide. Whereas you are looking over here, the rest of them, they do not dissociate easily, as you can see the trend over here. Okay, now why lithium carbonate is being distorted? Let's just see once again. The lithium ion that is going to be small, it is going to exert strong polarization. Because of this strong polarization, it is going to distort the electron cloud of oxygen. As a result of which, the carbon-oxygen bond, that is going to weaken, and this is going to strengthen the lithium-oxygen bond. Because this lithium-oxygen bond is strengthened over here, that is the reason why lithium oxide is going to be formed over here, and carbon dioxide, that is going to be eliminated. Because the bond between carbon and oxygen, that is Li2O. Carbon and oxygen, that is going to weaken. Okay? So this is what we have over here about carbonates. Let's go on to the second salts, that is nitrates. The second type of salts which we have over here, that is going to be nitrates. So let's go on to nature of nitrates. When we're talking of nature of nitrates, this forms these metal alkali metals. They are going to form nitrates of the type MnO3. All of these nitrates, they are colorless, right? They are going to be soluble in water and they are going to be ionic in nature. They are electrovalent. The bond between them, that is going to be an electrovalent bond. Also, you should remember that the nitrates, they do not undergo hydrolysis. Right? As we just said that the carbonates, they are going to undergo hydrolysis. Nitrates do not undergo hydrolysis. Now, on heating, these are going to decompose into the respective nitrites of the type MnO2, and plus they are going to give us oxygen is liberated in this case. Okay? So let's take an example. We are taking lithium nitrate. This is going to give us lithium nitrite, plus it is going to give us oxygen. Okay, then the next type of salts which are formed, they are known as sulfates. So we go into nature of sulfates over here. Now sulfates formed are of the type M2SO4. Right? Now over here, with exception of lithium sulfate, all other sulfates, they are going to be soluble in water such that the order of solubility, that is going to be lithium sulfate, that is practically insoluble, so it is going to have the minimum solubility, and as the size of the cation that will keep on increasing, the solubility will keep on increasing. So then it is Na2SO4, then it is K2SO4, then it is Rb2SO4, and then it is cesium sulfate. Okay? Then we have another kind of salts over here. This is the only trend which is in your syllabus. The other kind of salts which we have is perchlorates. So the fourth one, that is nature of perchlorates. These form perchlorates of the type NClO4. Okay? This is the kind of perchlorates which are formed. Now it is seen that as we keep going down the group, the stability of the perchlorates increases. The stability that will keep on increasing down the group. Right? Now over here it is also seen that the solubility that will keep on decreasing down the group. Stability अगर increase कर रही है तो solubility decreases down the group. So over here lithium chlorate, lithium perchlorate, that is going to be most soluble in water. Then we have sodium, then we have potassium, and finally it is going to be cesium. Solubility will keep on decreasing down the group and stability that will keep on increasing down the group. Then we come to another property. These were the oxoacids, the salts of oxoacids which we've discussed. Then we have another chemical property of, the fifth chemical property of alkali metals, that is reaction with ammonia. This is an important concept over here because we generally get a conceptual questions from this particular section. So in case of reaction ammonia, one thing which is characteristic over here is the color of the ammoniated electron which is formed over here, right? So that is the question which generally comes. So when we're talking of alkali metals, they all dissolve in liquid ammonia. They are going to all dissolve in liquid ammonia. Okay? Now, because they are dissolving in liquid ammonia, it is seen that in case of water, when they were dissolving, there was certain amount of hydrogen which was liberated. Over here, no hydrogen is going to be liberated, right? But on the contrary, whenever we are putting any alkali metal in ammonia, it is going to get a blue color. This blue color is due to formation of an ammoniated electron. Okay? So if we are talking of any alkali metal, so this alkali metal that is going to get converted into M positive plus 1 electron because it has a tendency to lose an electron. Okay. Now over here, M positive ion which is formed when we are dissolving it in ammonia, so we are saying that the N positive ion that is going to be in liquid ammonia, right? And when we are talking of the electron over here, this electron which is being released, this is known as ammoniated electron. Now it is because of this ammoniated electron over here that the solution that is going to get a blue color. So if we are taking the reaction, we have M plus X plus Y of ammonia. This is going to give us M, a coordinate complex, positive, okay? And plus we are going to get an ammoniated electron which may be represented as ENH3 bi. Now this electron is going to you can say absorb energy, go to a higher energy level. Okay, so whenever light is going to fall on the ammonical solution of alkali metals, the ammoniated electron that is going to get excited. Once it gets excited and then comes back to the ground state, it is going to emit radiations. And those radiations, they generally emit in the blue region of the Vidgyor. Okay. Now in concentrated solution, what is going to happen? In case of concentrated solution, so what am I saying over here? That the blue color that is going to be because of this. Now in concentrated solutions, when we are taking, it is seen that the color that changes to, from blue it is going to change into bronze. That is because of aggregation of the electrons together. Okay? So concentrated solution may, it is going to be bronze, metal clusters are formed because, and in case of dilute solution, the solution is going to have a blue color. Then the next property which we are going to do is formation of alloys. Formation of alloys. What are alloys? Alloys, they are homogeneous mixtures of solids. Right? So that they are alloys. Homogeneous mixtures of metals, they are going to be alloys. Alkali metals, they are going to form alloys amongst themselves, right? And also they form alloys with other metals. So this is not a very important property. Generally we say that whenever they form alloy with mercury, these are going to be known as amalgams. The alkali metals, they do not have a very high tendency of forming alloys. because alloys are generally formed by the d block elements which have similar sizes. Over here there is going to be a lot of difference in sizes between the alkali metals, therefore the alloy formation is not very common. ठीक है? But still it forms mercury के साथ, it forms alloys, quite stable alloys, and they are going to be known as amalgams. Then the next property is complex formation, right? Now alkali metals, they have a very little tendency to form complexes. They do not form complexes very effectively, right? They are going to have very little tendency to form complexes. Lithium, which has the smallest size amongst all, that forms complexes to the greatest extent, and the tendency to form complexes that will keep on decreasing as we keep going down the group. So lithium की सबसे ज़्यादा potassium, sodium, potassium, rubidium and cesium, because of its large size, does not form very stable complexes. Okay, then the next property which we have, that is extraction of alkali metals. Alkali metals, they cannot be extracted by common processes, right? Distillation से या हम किसी भी और जो easy methods होते हैं extraction of metal से, that is by roasting, by calcination, और क्या कहते हैं उसको, by other methods which you will do in your class 12, we are not able to क्या कहते हैं उसको, extract the alkali metals. One of the most important reason is that they themselves are going to behave as very reducing, as very good reducing agents. Because they are behaving as very good reducing agents, therefore they cannot be reduced. Okay, so what are going to be the reasons? Let's just discuss the reasons. The first reason, which I have just told you, that the alkali metals, they themselves are the strongest reducing agents in the periodic table, lithium being the strongest out of all. So as a result of this, they cannot be extracted by reduction. Okay, because they themselves are going to be highly reducing in nature. Then next is, they are highly electropositive. They are going to be highly electropositive, and because of their high electropositive character, this method cannot be applied for displacing other metals, because they themselves are most reactive metals. So, like for example, if you want to displace it by some other metal, they being the most reactive, they cannot be displaced, but they will displace the other metals easily. Okay, like for example, if you trying to take a reaction of the type Na2SO4 plus zinc. So this reaction cannot take place. Why? Because over here sodium is going to be more reactive than zinc. So zinc cannot displace sodium over here, right? But if we are taking a reaction like ZnSO4 plus 2Na, sodium will be able to displace zinc easily because of its more electropositive character. So this also rules out. And third is that the aqueous solution of their salts cannot be used in electrolysis. The third reason is that the aqueous salts cannot be used in the process of electrolysis for extraction. The reason behind this is that whenever we are going to take the aqueous salts, in this case, as they are going to have more negative reduction potentials, it is going to be hydrogen which is going to be released at the cathode. All the alkali metals, they have the reduction potential values less than 0. Okay? Because they are less than 0, as a result of which, whenever we are going to do the electrolysis of aqueous salts, hydrogen is going to be released at the cathode and not the metal ion. So in order to do the electrolysis, instead of taking aqueous solution, we generally take fused salts. Fused salts, or you can take molten form of salts, right? So this is the only successful method of extracting the alkali metals in pure form. So metallurgy or extraction of alkali metals can only be done by the electrolysis of either fused salts or molten salts. Is it clear? So these are the reasons. Reducing agents, they themselves are reducing agents, so reduction cannot take place. Number two, they are highly electropositive. Because of their high electropositive character over here, they cannot be easily displaced by other metals. And thirdly, their aqueous salts, they cannot be used for the extraction of metals. The reason behind being that the hydrogen that is going to be released over here. Okay? So this is all of the properties of alkali metals. We are going to discuss the first element in this alkali metals, which is going to be lithium. So we just want to do the abnormal behavior of lithium over here. What are going to be the differences of lithium and rest of the salts. So these are the two comparative studies which we are going to discuss in this section. Alright, so lithium being the first member of the family, it shows abnormal behavior than rest of the members of the family. Right? Now what are the reasons? We already know what the reasons should be. The first is that the size of lithium, that is very, very small. It is the smallest element which is present in the entire thing. So on account of this, it is going to, we've already studied that because of small size, it is going to exert high polarization and because of this, it has highest covalent character. So the compounds of lithium, they are going to be covalent in nature, whereas the compounds of rest of the members, they are going to be ionic in nature. Okay? The number two, lithium has highest value of ionization energy because of the smallest size. Therefore, this is going to have less electropositive character right, and because of less electropositive character, this is going to be least metallic amongst all. Lower the electropositive character, lower is the metallic character, right? Then number three, there are no vacant d orbitals. Absence of vacant d orbitals in its valence shell, so it cannot extend its octet. Right? The maximum number of electrons which it can hold is only 8. Does not have an extended octet. Now over here, lithium that is going to have strong metallic bonding. Why? Because of its small size, it is seen that the metallic bonding that is going to be small. And due to the small metallic bonding, the reactivity is not small, strong, sorry. It has strong metallic bonding because of its small size. And because of the strong metallic bonding, it is going to be least reactive. Amongst all the alkali metals, it is going to be least reactive. Okay, so these are the reasons, these are the 4 reasons why lithium that is going to behave in a different manner than rest of the alkali metals. Got it? So let's just see what are the differences in properties of lithium. Differences in properties of lithium than rest of the elements of the group. Number 1, it is going to be harder and lighter than the rest of the elements of the family. Okay? Number 2, it is not tarnished by air, or you can say it is not affected by air. Okay? And also it does not lose its shine even on melting. So when we are going to melt it, it is not going to lose its shine. Okay? फिर उसके बाद it reacts slowly with water. It does not react very vigorously like sodium catches fire with water. Okay? But over here it slowly reacts with water to liberate hydrogen. So the reaction over here is going to be very, very slow, does not vigorously react with water, and then it does not react with oxygen below 0 degrees Celsius. It is not going to react with oxygen below 0 degrees Celsius, and it only forms monoxides. We have already studied that the rest of them, they form peroxides and superoxides, but over here lithium is going to form only monoxides due to its small size, right? It is the only metal amongst the alkali metals which directly combines with nitrogen to form a pure form of lithium nitrite. Rest of them, they do not combine directly. Okay? Also you will see that it is going to have a different, the nitrates is going to have a different effect of heat. So it is seen that when lithium nitrate is heated, when lithium nitrate is going to be heated, it is going to give us lithium oxide, okay, plus it will give us nitrogen dioxide, and it is going to give us oxygen. Whereas when we are heating nitrates of other elements, for example, when we are heating sodium nitrate over here, this is going to give us sodium nitrite, okay, and plus it is going to give us oxygen. So this is how the reaction that is differing. In case of lithium nitrate, we are getting lithium oxide, but in case of sodium nitrate, we are not getting the oxide of that particular metal, we are going to get nitrites, right? Then next is that lithium sulfate is the only alkali metal sulfate which does not form double salt. It does not combine with other metal salts to form a double salt, right? Whereas sodium sulfate and potassium sulfate, they can easily form double salts. Okay, and the last is that lithium hydroxide is the weakest base in the entire family. So these are few of the differences of lithium. We are only left with one topic in this particular section, alkali metals, that is going to be the diagonal relation between lithium and magnesium, and then we go on to our next topic, which is going to be alkaline earth metals. Okay?